Elevated Grapes Podcast.
Elevated Grapes Podcast.
With your host, Sethi.
Your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
It's time to get started.
Let's talk fashion, shall we?
Let's go.
Alright guys, so welcome to Elevated Grapes. I am your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
And we just finished a whirlwind couple of weeks with Toronto Fashion Week, Toronto International Film Festival, and Rashi was out in New York for New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
So a whole bunch of craziness. If you are on our Instagram or on our YouTube, we will be posting videos of all of it because we captured a whole bunch of events, a bunch of experiences, a bunch of interviews. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We met some really cool people and got us a chance to get out there and network as well. So we have some stuff that's going to be upcoming with Rashi. We'll talk about that in New York in the near future.
Near future.
We'll talk about that. So we're going to get into a little bit about our experiences within those different events. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the outfits we saw and some of the best dressed on Tiff on the red carpet, and some from our perspective that were misses. If you are listening on one of the streaming sites, or if you're listening on our syndicated radio shows or anything like that, we'll have them all on our Facebook page, so you can grab the link, which is facebook.com/elevatedgrapes, and you can see all the pictures and links that we're talking about on there. And we're going to talk about our outfits a little bit too, that we chose and why we chose them.
Yes.
Or the thought process behind them. So
it was a lot of planning.
It was a lot of planning
because we planned, like, our schedule ended up being 9-10 pages of all the stuff.
Of the different events, yeah.
Yeah, that we were doing, and then who's wearing what
between
and where.
TFW and New York Fashion Week and Tiff.
We didn't actually put TFW in there. It was just between. Actually, no, we did.
You're
right.
That's where it started.
Yeah, that's how all the craziness started. And then if you guys also follow us on our personal accounts, everything was like up on our stories too. You got to have a chance to see what we were kind of doing. And I think it's really cool. And we touched upon this a bit, that how we both had the opportunity to really be in our element, in our first love. Like, yours is entertainment, mine is fashion. So the grapes, as we call ourselves now, or we've known for, we went a little bit separate in that sense, did our own thing, which is still part of Elevated Grapes, and we then, came back and
the
put
really
it
cool
together.
thing is they all sort of tied in. Like, we had the function, or the focus, on the hosting and the entertainment piece through Tiff. But there's still a lot of fashion involved with that. Like,
of course.
The interview that I did with London, which we'll talk about, we touched on fashion because that was a big piece for him during Tiff.
Yes.
And obviously with New York Fashion Week and Toronto Fashion Week, we got to deal with we got to see all the different cool new fashion trends and ideas coming out. Well, because we're doing coverage and providing the coverage for a lot of these events, the hosting piece and that part of our
right
came out too.
Which was good, because hosting and entertainment and men's fashion is your first love. Mine is fashion first. So
absolutely, high fashion.
So
and that's
high fashion, and that's where we kind of ended up.
Tie the two. So let's sort of get into that a little bit. We'll do the synopsis. Let's do the synopsis first.
Right.
Let's talk about the different events that we went to. So we started off with Toronto Fashion Week. That's where the first couple of events were. And we went to Farley Chatto and Adrian Arneri's events. And two very different styles of fashion. That was also the day we went to the Sharp Magazine event. And
that was really fun too.
Which actually we're going to reference in a bit, because when we talk about the Tiff fashions, a lot of the highlights that we're looking at for the different best dressed are on Sharp Magazine. So kind of interesting how that ties together. So how was that first event for you? And we're not going to go through every event in detail, just some of the ones we were at together, but
I think what is very noticeable, and especially with the last two shows that we went to, is that both the designers are very different in what they bring to the table, but they both had referenced, or they both took inspirations from back in the day. So like Farley did all the 20s. Adrian, he brought back the Spice Girls, which was a huge deal in the 90s.
Right.
So if you really think about the fashion that's happening, there is a touch of retro. The inspiration is, from a decade that they love, or that it means a lot to them.
Yeah.
And somehow it's kind of like trickling into us today as well, right? Which is what was really cool.
And Farley also did a bit of both men's and women's fashion. Like the men's fashion he touched on a little bit with a couple of outfits, primarily focused on women's fashion.
Right.
Whereas Adrian's I found a bit more geared to women's fashion.
Again, his theme was Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, yeah.
But he did have a bunch of guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking around, and now we call them Spice Boys. So if you actually if you actually search that hashtag, you will see Spice Boys, and you'll see like Adrian's outfits coming in, which was actually very, very fun.
We got a chance to actually meet. Well, we did the interview with Farley, which
yes.
you're going to see on our recap. So again, subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Instagram, because we'll post everything on there. But we did the interview with Farley, which was nice on site at the night up. But then we met Adrian the next 2 days later.
At the last day of Toronto Fashion Week, because we decided to just do the first two.
So this is what happens when we're in the middle of a conversation.
Right?
Lights go up.
The lights go off.
Lights just finished. And
they're like that excited about us.
Yeah, now we're half in the dark. But that's okay. we got backup lights.
There you go.
Nav is always ready. Yeah, so we got to meet him, and he was chatting with you about a bunch of different things that are coming up in his world.
We're gonna be getting him on our podcast actually, so we're like working that out, and in future projects with him is there. It's gonna happen.
So the cool thing that I liked with Farley's, especially on the male styling side, is he really took different prints and textures and paired them really well together. Like the one that stood out to me, which we showed in our last podcast.
It's a pink jacket.
Which was a pink jacket with the black and white checkered pants, or the window pane pants. And the jacket had almost like a satin, almost silkish kind of feel to it, if I remember correctly. And the pants were a bit more of a softer, like cottonish kind of material, with a bit of texture to them too. So again, very different styles of fabric, but a cool look to bring together. He tied it in because the lapel on the jacket was a black, and the window pane was white pants with black and white black window pane prints on them. So kind of tied together with the black, but the pink was a nice little pop.
Yeah.
But generally you're thinking you have pants that pop on its own. Like if you just put those pants with a solid color, or if you take a jacket and dress it with like a black pair of trousers or something simple or solid underneath, it would still work. But he took two really loud pieces, put them together, and it worked amazing.
And I think what a lot of the more experienced designers are doing now is that the focus is on the fabric, the focus is on the texture, and like you said, that if you're sitting as an audience and you're able to tell that is a rich fabric, that is showing how much thought process that they are putting in their pieces. And also Farley has been at this for like 30 years now. He's been doing this. Exactly, and he's worked and traveled not only in Canada, but he's done it in Europe. He's done it in North America, but in New York, right?
Yeah.
So that whole experience, and we will touch on the New York stuff in a bit, that really does change your perspective, whether you are a designer, whether you're a stylist, whether you're even a host. It really does change things for you. And I think that's what we're seeing in his shows. And that's what we experienced as we saw his Roaring 20s, as I like to call it.
And the music was so fitting. He just like they caught the
hair and makeup was on point, music, even the models. Like if you think about it,
the facial structures, the hair, like
everything
was done. Yeah.
It was very
it was really well done. So let's talk a little bit about. So that was our day one at Toronto Fashion Week. But what was your outfit, and what was the inspiration behind that?
You mean the one which I won? None of you guys recognized me.
Now walk right by you.
Yeah. There was no real inspiration behind it. It was just I wasn't sure actually what to wear. I think that's how I do get some of my ideas, and I was like, I just feel like wearing black because it's me and I can, and why not? And I put together a couple of my favorite kind of vintagey pieces, like they've been in my closet for a while, and I put them together, and I saw this hat, and I was like, oh, why not? And I just put it on, and it worked out with my new boots. And that's literally how my...
So it was just like, I'm going to piece this with this with this, and then throw on a cape, and then all of a sudden you're a superhero.
Yeah, kind of like that. And I think sometimes that's how you get your best outfits. When you put less thought into it, and you sometimes just don't know what to wear. I find that's what I've had the most reaction in my clothing choices, or my outfit choices, or my teammates just walk past by me and they don't know who I am.
I think it was the hat. To me it was I bought the maroon shirt recently that I wore, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna piece this together, but it's got to be funky and chic. Like, I didn't want to go overly funky, but I didn't want to make it look overly professional either. So I did sort of the trendy professional in between with the vest, and I paired. And sometimes you got to be careful with this, but I paired 3 different colors.
Which you can, and especially during Fashion Week, yes.
No, but I think I would wear that outfit too. Like, it wasn't just a Fashion Week outfit for me. I would wear that out too. But again, like, if you're, and just from a men's styling perspective, if you're ever pairing 3 different colors, you got to be careful, because again, it's just like what Farley did with those 2 pieces, a pink blazer and white and black checkered pants. In order for you to put that together, you really have to know your textures, your colors, your patterns, and make sure they don't. Because even the pink had a pattern on it.
Right.
So it's really important to make sure that they don't combat each other where it doesn't work. So again, I paired 3 different colors together, but they were all sort of in the same color spectrum. It was a blue, gray, maroon that I paired, but they weren't attacking each other. Like, they were complementary. Right. So again, colors you can work with. And 3 is probably the max you should want to go. You can probably hit 4 if you really know what you're doing. Yeah. Which is difficult. I think 3 is the max you want to hit in terms of the color spectrum.
And even if you were to do like a full solid color, like I did with the whole black thing, it's also making sure that there's not too many differences, right? Because then you don't want...
It's got to flow.
It all has to flow. So yes, I wore full black, but if you really look at the image closely, the shades of black had to also make sense and kind of also flow. And that's what so many people don't realize. Whether you're a guy or a girl, you can do a solid color, but then people just like, I'll just wear 3 different shades of black, and it's a black outfit or it's a blue outfit. But it's like, no, it has to be the same color. It has to flow. It has to make sense. And even that on its own is styling, right?
Yeah,
putting it like all together. So
then we went to we missed the second day. We went to the 3rd day of Toronto Fashion Week. And talk about your outfit for that one. You had those gold pants with the big hoop ready.
The big red lipstick. Yeah. So like when you walked into the whole like
got interviewed on the street for that because someone stopped you and wanted to talk to you about your outfit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So it's funny that you're saying the whole big red lips and the big earrings and the gold pants, because when I was leaving my house, my mom was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And I'm like, "This is Fashion Week. Like, I can dress up a bit and go out." I love oversized clothing. Like, we all know that. It's my style. It's what I like to do. And even when I do shows, I do prefer being in comfortable oversized clothing. So it's funny because I saw that jacket. I loved the jacket. And then I saw the earrings.
You based it around the jacket?
Yes and no, because as I saw the jacket, I was like, "Oh, I love this jacket and I want to wear it." And I got it from the designer, and she was like, "Yeah, you could wear it, whatever." And then I got these earrings, and I'm like, "Holy shit, I love the earrings too! Like, these are big and red, and it's so me." And then I'm like, "But I also love my boots." So what do I do?
Just threw it all together.
I just threw it all together,
but
it worked with those sunglasses that you were.
Yeah. For me, it was the pants. Like, I literally wanted to base the outfit around the pants. I was like, I wanted to wear this at one of the events, and then I had a couple of different looks that I went with or thought about with it, and then went with one of them. It also happened that I'd come from somewhere else, and I was wearing another outfit, and I was late, so I remember I was rushing into the first event, and I didn't change. And I was like, it's very professional what I was wearing. I was like, I could actually get away with this for the rest of the show, and ended up spilling some food on it, so I was forced to change.
Yes.
So, but which worked out better.
Which worked out, and plus I was like, "Oh my God, where are you? We're starting."
Yeah. But again, I went with the maroons. So maroons was my theme for Toronto Fashion Week. So let's go into, so that's when we sort of afterwards split, and you went into New York.
We did Tiff. Like I did, we did do a couple of Tiff events before I went to New York, and then you took over the Tiff events.
So talk about your experience in New York.
Oh my God. I think you, like, whoever is in any sort of entertainment or fashion industry, doing New York, the way I did it is a total game changer. When I came back, which was very recent, my perspective on a lot of things changed. It's not only changing your perspective in what you're doing, but it's changing perspectives on the team you have around you, the type of people that you want in your life, how far you're willing to go and push yourself and challenge yourself to get what you want, and even the caliber of talent, right? All of that stuff makes a huge difference. Like, I ended up doing New York pretty much solo.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I think it was the best choice for me at this stage of my life. And I got to meet Kelly Cutrone, which was a big deal for me.
Yeah, you guys actually had a nice sit-down conversation.
Yeah, so we chatted for 10 minutes. She is one of my
so for those that don't
mentors.
know, let's sort of give some background.
That's true. So Kelly Cutrone, she runs People's Revolution, which is a PR and events company based in New York and in LA. She started off in LA and then she branched off to New York as well. She started this company years ago by herself, and she's actually considered a fashion PR guru. So any PR firm who now exists, they actually kind of followed into her footsteps and what she's built and what she's done. And what I admire about her
what does she do PR for? She does some amazing PR for some of the most incredible events.
Well, it's all fashion based, and she also does for all the fashion weeks, like globally.
Yes, that's what
Yes.
To make sure our listeners heard that.
So it's not just local designers in New York or like LA. It's like she does her clients in like London Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week, and that just shows her reach and how she and what she's built. And I do recommend people who are into fashion, whether you're in any field of fashion, go read her story. Like go pick up her book. Just because it's not about the fact that she is into PR. It's just about the fact that how, I wouldn't necessarily do it on a gender basis. I would just say that everybody in life, we come to a breaking point. We come to a turning point. We do have meltdowns. Either you pick yourself up or you don't. And sometimes you just switch a flip. I'm sorry, like you just like yeah, that's what I meant to say.
The other way around.
Yeah. But it's up to you what you can do. I mean, she was in her 30s when she built all this. It's not that whole it was like she was in her 20s and she had this big legacy. Right. Literally midpoint of your life, you have a child. Now what? Right. And that's one of the reasons
why she made a decision to make a change.
And also her work ethic. Like I've seen her on TV. I've read her stuff, and you hear all these stories about her being a bitch and this and that, but she's also a sweetheart. Right. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And I think that's where I was indirectly influenced. So as we've seen, when I'm working a show, I get very like into it, and this has to be done like a certain way. But like before and after the show, I'm like a total sweetheart.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
You're giving yourself a compliment.
I don't yell after the show. I just yell during the show. It's very different.
Okay,
thanks. But so my point being is, even when I was there and I got invited to her show, which was a big deal for me, and I actually was like crying. I cannot believe it. I got invited to her show. To see her in action, and then despite having all the success and despite having your team and everything, she's still dressed in black, very plain. She's making sure everybody's seated. And then right before the show starts, she actually goes into the sound box and she's controlling the music, when everybody goes with her headset, everything like that. Right. And that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because
she's particular with how she wants her show to be presented.
And but that's
her
what
branding too.
But the thing is, if you go to other shows, especially like in Toronto, the people who are doing these shows, they care more about their red carpet pictures and what outfit they're wearing and all that stuff. And for her it was, we are all seated. Those who have to stand, all that stuff. And then once the show was over, total sweetheart, she was there. So I just,
Right. So then she was focused when the main
thing was done. Right. And it was and she got a standing ovation, of course. And I just put my stuff in the bath and I just waited and I just went up to her and I said, hi, and you have really, really played a huge role in my life. And I actually spoke to her for 10 minutes and something I'm not going to say just yet, but which was just really, really good. And the fact that I had a 10-minute proper conversation with her was the highlight of my trip. And that just shows that if you want to do something, you can do it. Because we didn't really plan for like New York. It like kind of happened in like less than 2 weeks that we just said like, okay, I'm gonna go. You know, we didn't really plan it. We didn't like put any strategy behind it. Just picked up my bags and I told my parents like 3-4 days before that I'm going.
Peace out.
I'm leaving. Didn't really tell them how I'm doing this, but I just did it. So that was one of the highlights.
The big highlights.
That was one of the big highlights, and then the other part was seeing the caliber of talent over there, like even the models, like how they walk. Mr. J was at some of the shows and seeing him, how he looked at the models. And for those who don't know that, Mr. J is actually one of the biggest runway coaches. He was there he was part of America's Next Top Model for like many years. He actually trained Naomi Campbell.
Wow.
So to be at a show seated across him and then seeing how he's judging every model, and those models know he's there, that's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So
everybody in that world knows who he is, and they know what he's about.
Exactly. And then there were so many people who were, oh my God, he's here. And we're all trying to like sneak in a picture and try and be like cool about it, right? But at the same time, once you're in that industry and you're seeing people who have changed your lives or have impacted your life in some way, you do get that, oh my God, like moments. So it was really cool seeing that. It was seeing the designers there. Oh my God, it was a whole different level of the amount of hard work they put in, their passion. Really, I was just like, I just want to style this. I just want to work with them. I was like, what am I doing in Toronto?
Well, you have your base, right? And then you go. Like seeing this stuff is now where you can look at some of the opportunities out there.
And again, right? That's like, this is good for anybody in any sort of entertainment or fashion industry, because you do get to see things from a different perspective. You aren't treated like royalty there. You are treated like almost like second class right now because you're not known there, but that's what you sometimes need to know. I was thankful that I got to go to industry shows, but to wait in line, which I haven't done in God knows how long, to try and talk to other people, to network, was the experience that I think I now needed for the next part of my career. So it was really amazing.
So you're definitely going back to New York Fashion Week.
Oh, absolutely.
So while you were there, we had an opportunity to connect with a couple of really cool events here. Rashi was sort of the quarterback behind everything for all of us. She set up all the events so that both New York Fashion Week, Tiff, and Toronto Fashion Week were all set up with various different events. So we got to cover the event for Chef Latoya, which was at Cube, and there we got a chance to interview London Brown, who plays Reggie on Ballers. So we're doing a separate coverage piece on that. So you will see that. I got a chance to host an event for Sean Paul, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun, and we'll show some pictures from there. And then when you came back, we got a chance to meet Director X.
Yes.
At the
Pure Luxury magazine party,
which was really cool too. So a lot of really influential people and good connections and folks, and they all, like, you know what the cool thing is, they all have such, even from a fashion perspective, you know, regardless of the world that they're in, just cool styles. Each and every one of them has such an individually cool style.
Oh, and then also we did the Deadline Hollywood panel for Hustlers movie, which was a huge deal, having Jennifer Lopez here and how everybody was like reacting to it.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And you got a chance to get into the ground floor there, being in before J-Lo even came in, I think, and you were and you were
part of that like discussion,
with the casting crew. So let's get it. So now that we're onto that Tiff topic, let's get into some of our
best dressed
conversations. So we'll post, like, as we're going through these, we'll show them on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on Spotify or any of the streaming sites or syndicated stations, they'll be on our Facebook. We'll post the links up along with the pictures. So a couple of the favorites, you know, for me were Michael B. Jordan, and well, let's start with him. So the one outfit we're looking at, we'll put the link up. It's the Sharp Magazine look. We have the top 10 from them. We're going to go through them real quick. So he wore an a fitted longer, went sort of down almost to his calf, a blazer look. I have a jacket similar, but not
Yeah,
same
you do
print.
actually.
Not same print, but same idea. But it goes down to just past your knee, and he wore it as a blazer. Just got a lot of looks on the runway on the red carpet, and he also got a lot of amazing feedback on like a lot of the blogs and sites. He actually took it from a different. If I have it here, if not, then we'll post it on our link as well. But he took it from a runway show, out of a specific fashion show. Now I'm drawing a blank, which is terrible. But we'll put the description in the description where it's from. But he took it from somewhere and just dressed it to make it a little more everyday.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool outfit that we liked a lot. Well, I liked a lot. So Eddie Redmayne, his was really cool too because if you see here,
he managed to do the full.
Yeah, but you know what, like wearing a color like this and being able to pull it off in this manner, like I think he paired the shoes perfect. Whoever styled him paired the shoes perfectly with it. But just even the collar, because it's a very busy print. Yeah. Right, and if you're wearing that on
the black and white, just
even on
for
the regular,
to know,
like, you know, some people may not be able to know how to pull that off, but this was really, really well done. One of my favorites. This was interesting. So Lakeith Stanfield, and I've seen in recent runways on Vogue that this, like the robe,
the robe look.
Yeah, it's like a robe that you're gonna wear out of a shower, or like your Hugh Hefner, but it's working. Like it works in this manner that he's put it together.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it. I do like the robe part. I like the shoes, maybe with different pants. I think the pants are what's bothering me more so than anything.
Probably the pants.
Not the robe thing at all, because I think that's also very, very, very cool that how you did it. But I'm not 100% sold on the look. I think you're right. It's because of the pants.
Yeah, so, definitely the pants were. I would taper them and have them a little more fitted.
And just not that texture, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Daniel Craig. Straight classic, but the shoes.
I love it. See, that is my look. That is my style, my look, even for guys.
But just check out the suit. Like the suit is so just clean and
it's clean and
perfectly
simple.
fit.
And then you throw in.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. What are those shoes again?
What are they?
Oh, you can tell.
They're Yves Saint Laurent. They're not Converse.
I know they're not, but look, they're sparkly. Okay.
They're not sparkly.
Yes, they're sparkly. Just saying, men can wear sparkly shoes, guys.
So I really like Jamie Foxx's outfit too, but again,
I love how I'm like ignored in this.
I love Jamie Foxx's outfit, but again, it's the same thing to me. Like I'm not like the pants. They're not tapered to him. They're not fit well for him.
I don't. You know what?
Really, his outfit is the hat at the end of the day.
I'm not sold on his outfit. I'm sorry. It's just not working for me.
It's just he's really just doing the hat.
No, the whole thing's just not working for me.
The other one that I really liked that I wanted to touch on was this. This kid's right here. Where did it go? Yeah. So
just for those who are listening, we're using an iPad for the first time.
Yeah.
So we're having a bit of issues with it.
So Jaden Martell, this outfit to me is incredible. Like just
stop doing that. Don't touch.
Just the whole suit
and the shoes. Yeah.
But even the suit too. It's a very different texture pant. It's a very different texture jacket. The buttons, the way the placement of the buttons on the blazer is amazing. Just a really well put together. I mean, I would have changed the shirt probably, but
no. But see, I liked it. I liked how he's able to pull the full one color look, and then your shoes just pop. But that's just me. But go on.
Yeah, I might have done something with the pants. The shirt a little bit to make it a little bit different. Let's talk about the Weeknd. Is our closing topic over here. So the Weeknd came out with this. So it's in the news. Him and his I guess ex-girlfriend now broke up recently, and so he came out with this Lionel Richie fro porn star mustache sort of look. Like I don't like. I didn't really totally understand it.
I don't like it.
I mean, it's retro. He's got the fro. It's a very Lionel Richie kind of look.
I know, but still, like.
So let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about outside of Tiff. Let's talk about the looks of the Weeknd.
Yes.
So when he started off in his Able XO with like the big, the peacock.
The peacock.
Here, like it's attacking at you. It's moving at you like this, and then he had the clean look with the box hair.
Yeah.
And the the beard, and now he has this.
I don't like it.
You think Bella would have let him do this if they were still together?
No. See, this is why men need women in their lives. This is a prime example.
Okay, so on that note, we're going to wrap up. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Elevated Grapes podcast show. Thank you for tuning in every time you tune in. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
Just thank you guys in general. Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next week.
There you go.
Hey guys, thank you for watching that podcast or that video. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more of us and see some of our behind the scenes stuff, subscribe below.
Yes, hit that little red, button thingy that's over there and hit subscribe and keep following us for a lot more cool, fun stuff.
Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you soon.